This unique project is specifically oriented at private jetty via Sea of Sungai Rengit for exploitation stone aggregate activity.
Hi, my name is Akina.
My name is Izati. We are a reporter from 5 Production.
Today we're going to the private jetty at Sungai Rengit.
Let's go!
Sungai Rengit is a town in southeastern Johor, Malaysia, located near Pengerang. It can be reached from Singapore by boat from the ferry terminal at Changi Village.
The distance from College Professional Mara Bandar Penawar to Customs Sungai Rengit Pengerang are 32 kilometers and it takes 30 minutes to arrive there. The location of private jetty Sungai Rengit are nearby to the custom location. It takes about 10 minutes to arrive to the private jetty Sungai Rengit Pengerang. Private jetty Sungai Rengit can only load 2 barges at one time. There are many trucks in the jetty which are used to loading and unloading the stone aggregate from quarry to the barge. Other than that, the location of the quarry is near to the jetty, so that it can reduce the cost of transportation.
Here at private jetty Sungai Rengit, and the concept that they use is a tram service. A tram service or tramper, on the other hand, is a ship that has no fixed routing or itinerary or schedule and is available at short notice from port to port.
A ship engaged in the tram trade is one which does not have a fixed schedule or published port of call. As opposed to freight liners, tram ships trade on the spot market with no fixed schedule or port of call. Tram ships vary considerably in size and are sometimes of lesser quality than the liner ships. Because the cargoes usually don't have to be transported at a high speed and the ship doesn't need highly sophisticated equipment, tram ships are relatively slow and cheap. Shipping can be arranged either through a regular liner or through tram services which do not have a fixed schedule. Able to suit different needs and functions, these two services have long been the lifeblood of the vast transportation market. Liners carry goods in large quantities from merchants and consignors. Tram ships, on the other hand, often carry cargo on a more random per load basis.
What is documentation? Documentation is an exporter without any commercial contract is completely exposed of foreign exchange that arise due to the probability of an adverse change in exchange rate. Therefore, it becomes important for the exporter to gain some knowledge about the foreign exchange rate. Quoting of exchange rate and various factors determining the exchange rate.
As time progresses, so does the size, and structure of ships. Today, they are relied upon for an assortment of tasks that still cannot be done as successfully through other means. The primary advantage of ships is their ability to carry tons of merchandise and equipment. They transport many of the world's finite resources, including oil and coal.
What is the objective to get the documentation? The objective of get the documentation is shipping documents are the key to international trade and have been used for thousands of years. Document outlines the sale, shipment and responsibilities of each party so that the full transaction is understood and complete without delay or additional cost. Documents also ensure compliance with applicable regulations.
Goods imported for storage in a licensed warehouse must be declared to customs at the times of importation. Both the GST and customs duty payable at importation will be suspended. The GST and customs duty will be payable when the goods are removed from the licensed warehouse for use. Documentation is a key means of conveying information from one person or company to another and also serves as permanent proof of tasks and action undertaken throughout the export process. Documentation is not only required for your own business purpose and that of your business partners, but also to satisfy the customs authorities in both countries and to facilitate the transportation of and payment for goods sold. One value of documentation is that copies can be made and shared with the parties involved in the export process. If the documentation is complete, accurate, agreed upon by the parties involved and signed by each of these parties, the document will represent a legally binding document. Pejabat Tanah dan Galian will release the form of exportation the stone aggregate to Singapore and approved by customs. The owner of quarry must set the excavation stone permit to get permission from Pejabat Tanah dan Galian to dig the stone. With this form, the owner cannot do the activity. If the activity continues, it becomes illegal activity. These are documents need to settle by buyer's agent before the goods delivered.
Hi, I'm Azwa, agent for Singapore. Function of my duty is settle all the document export to the customs, be legally liable of acts of workers, prepare general bond according to the amount fixed by customs.
Agent must give notice arrival of the ship and crew list before 24 hours to Jabatan Kastam Diraja Sungai Rengit Pengerang. The ship from outside the country must have port clearance from their side and it hold by captain. In word manifest is the ship come with zero space and then the custom check it. Port clearance from Singapore must give to the custom to declare the ship got the permission. K2 was filling by the other side and bring with permit 4C and coupon. Had to bring also with the agent. The custom will check the details product and if all of document fulfill the term, the custom give a release port form and also with the form outward manifest. Sometimes, if the work not been finished on time, the agent must apply to work overtime and it must approved by custom.
First of imported stone aggregate to Singapore aggregates are consumed in large quantity to meet road construction and other infrastructure development activities. It is important to recognize that aggregate is not just dirt or soil that is readily available from an unlimited number of locations. Aggregates in fact include many distinct grades of sand and gravel very involved in their geologic origin and in their subsequent processing. Commonly used processing techniques include crushing, screening and washing. Each product type is manufactured to meet set engineering specifications.
Construction aggregate or simply aggregate is a broad category of coarse particulate material used in construction, including sand, gravel, crushed stone, slag, recycled concrete, and geosynthetic aggregates.
Tram ships do not have fixed schedules. Users charter them to haul loads. Generally, the smaller shipping companies and private individuals operate tram ships. For export solid aggregate, they don't have scheduling. They export stone aggregate every day because they already have document approval to export stone aggregate from Pejabat Tanah dan Galian.
The secondary advantage of liners and trams is their low cost. Transporting goods across the sea is much cheaper than carrying them through the air, mostly due to the massive quantities that can be delivered at once with a tram or liner. Shipping via air cargo would require several planes, costing much more in fuel to equal to the load of a ship.
In tram shipping, tram ships are being used. As the name indicates, this branch of the shipping industry is very irregular in its activities. Tram ships are sent in where the most paying freights are available. Therefore, tramping is very unstable and very little organized. Tram ships are in accordance with the demand contractually put at the disposal of charterers to carry for one or more voyages a quantity of goods between named harbours or to carry out a number of transport consignments in a certain period of time. In the broader sense of the word, tram shipping is the activity that is done with ships in voyage charter. Usually, under a charter agreement, they have to perform only one voyage so that each voyage stands completely apart from the other. The vessel is an independent operating and competing unit and its operation is highly individual. The sailing schedule of a tram ship is consequently very irregular. The ship operator must see to it that his ship is really idle and in the port of discharge or in a harbour as close as possible to the port of discharge. He must always try to get a new charter for the ship. Ballast voyages must be avoided at all costs and are for the ship operator the main problem.
Carrying any of these items without permissions may result in your immediate arrest. All baggage is x-rayed at every port of entry, so placing such item in checked baggage will not allow you to bring it into the country. The following items are not allowed to be imported into Singapore: chewing gum, except dental or nicotine gum, cigarette lighters or pistol or revolver shapes.
Export documentation plays a vital role in international marketing as it facilitates the smooth flow of goods and payments thereof across national frontiers. A number of documents accompany every shipment. This document must be properly and correctly filled. Export documentation is, however, complex as the number of documents to be filled in is large. So also is the number of concerned authorities to whom the relevant documents are to be submitted. Moreover, documents required differ from country to country.
Here are the activities that happen in private jetty Sungai Rengit, Pengerang. They loading the stone aggregate in the barge by using trucks. These activities start early in the morning because the loading process will take a long time. To fully utilize the barge, they must make sure that they done with 100 times trip of the truck and it will take about 8 to 9 hours. The full barge can carry 660,000 tons of stone aggregate. They take the stone aggregate from the quarry. The distance between quarry and private jetty is about 12 kilometers. The truck has to load the stone aggregates in the barge and repeat the same things until the barge fully with stone. The person in charge in quarry must get the permission from pejabat tanah dan galian to dig the stone. In the contract, there is specific date given by pejabat tanah dan galian for digging stone activity. The activity must done within the time given by them. To fully utilize the time given, they must do the activity every day except for weekend. It also can maximize the productivity in the quarry. This activity must controlled by pejabat tanah dan galian to avoid misunderstanding or corruption. Pejabat tanah dan galian was helped by custom to make sure that the activity happen in the quarry is under control.
The potential modes of transport by which these goods may be moved including route, schedule, transit point, etc. The modes of transport used are truck, tugboat and barge. Usually, the ship used for the carriage the goods are King Mariner and Sea Wing 2401, Ocean Victor and Lebroy 265, Sea Wind and Wind Build 2405.
Process of export stone aggregate from Malaysia to Singapore is agent must apply notice arriving ship before 24 hours the ship arrives, also with the crew list. They have to wait the process declares from customs. After got declaration from customs, they can proceed with their working. When finished, agent has to declare finished with customs, also with the form export. If they don't finish their work in the time, they have to get permission from customs to work overtime. Agent must all settle down the form. After finish, they have to get the signature from Jabatan Laut before they went back. If no, their ship cannot go back to Singapore.
The delivery process from Sungai Rengit to Singapore will take about 8 hours. Actually, the distance between Sungai Rengit and Singapore are not far, but the barge moves very slow because it carries 660,000 tons of stone aggregate. The movement of the delivery also depends on the weather. If weather are bad, the movement becomes slower and it will take about 8 to 12 hours. The barge must follow the route from Sungai Rengit that given pejabat tanah dan galian.
Fortunately, there are software products that capture the primary details for the shipment and insert them into the necessary document without flaw. This fast fact will describe many of the documents your business will need in order to export successfully. Export documentation is a tedious but necessary process that all exporters must pay close attention to, as documentation requirements vary considerably by country, commodity and situation. Although exporters must fill out and submit many different forms for each international shipment, most require similar data elements and can be duplicated precisely from one document to the next.
The dry bulk and liquid cargo are generally referred as tramp trade, and the vessels used to transport this cargo are called tramp ships. Tramp service will not have a fixed route. This ship goes from one port to another depending on the cargo availability. Tramp service could be compared to a taxi service which is hired to go from one place to another for a single travel.